again, my beautiful people. Welcome to another episode on Let's Talk About Us with Uche. I am your host, Uche. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you're new to my podcast, please make sure to download, subscribe, share with your friends and family. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please also make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so anytime I upload a video, you'll be the very first to be notified. So today I do want to talk about this video that's been going viral. I actually just first saw this video. It's like 10 seconds long, posted on Adeola Fayohon's Instagram page. I've mentioned Adeola before. She's a Nigerian-American journalist living here in America, and she's done a lot of good work exposing a lot of bullshit going on in Nigeria with the Nigerian politicians specifically, and also Nigerian churches. So if you haven't heard of her, if you haven't subscribed, run to her YouTube page and subscribe right now. Her name is Adeola Fayohon. Her Instagram is Adeola Fayohon. It's verified and everything. So anyway, basically I was going through Instagram and I saw her video, a 10-second video that she posted on her Instagram page. So it's basically a picture of, they look like a couple, and this man was beating the shit out of this lady. I mean, this shit was brutal. It's only 10 seconds, but it was just brutal. I can only imagine. He pushed her on the wall, slapped the shit out of her. She's running, and the sad thing is that you can hear the little kids in the background screaming and yelling "mommy." You know, they sound scared as hell.
You put the iron gun away! Stop it!
I do want to give a quick disclaimer. The point of this podcast is not to bash anyone. I am not bashing anybody in this video, not even the man, to be honest with you. Yes, what he did is wrong, but I'm not bashing anyone. I am not talking shit about anybody specifically. I'm not talking shit about marriage in general. I actually do respect marriage, and I would never celebrate any type of mess. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of mess it is. I would never celebrate somebody else's mess. Absolutely not. I would never celebrate divorce. I would never celebrate domestic abuse. I would never approve of any type of foul behavior at all. But my point to this episode today is challenging people to see the bullshit that we're on. Seriously, the lies we tell ourselves. See, as a Nigerian, I'm guessing that these are Nigerians, you know, maybe not Nigerians, but definitely Africans. But of course, Nigerians are not the only ones guilty of this. As Nigerians, we glamorize marriage so much. There's so much pressure from left, right. Everybody is pressuring you to get married. I swear to God, every time I go on YouTube, every time I go on Facebook, every time I go on Instagram, somebody's getting married. Somebody, it's about the ring, it's about the rock. Buy me a rock. You know, how big is the ring and all that dumbass shit. There's nothing wrong with getting married. There's nothing wrong with posting your wedding pictures and posting all your shit on Facebook. There's nothing wrong with having a good married life and having a good love life and all that shit. Me personally, I do want to get married someday, but we need to get real as to some of the things we overlook. Domestic violence is a thing. Domestic abuse is a thing. I've seen way too many. I've witnessed way too many. I've watched way too many. I've heard of way too many domestic abuse, especially now in this pandemic bullshit going on. There's so many marriages falling out. There's so many relationships breaking. I understand husbands and wives and, you know, couples and whatnot, they have their ups and downs. But at what point are we going to start taking initiative to actually do our part to prevent these things from getting out of hand? And this is what I keep saying when it comes to the way Nigerians raise their kids. Nigerians raise their kids to be so prude. Nigerians raise their kids, oh, you can't bring boys home, you can't bring girls home. How in the world is that kid supposed to start dating and start familiarizing themselves with intimacy and romance and things like that? How is that kid supposed to find out who they are physically, mentally, even sexually? It's like face your books and have straight A's and all that good stuff. But as soon as they become an adult, as all of a sudden, where's your husband? Where's your wife? Where's it this? Where's it that? There's no incentive to go through the natural process of courtship, natural process of getting to know somebody. You know, do you know if this person, if you're compatible with this person? Are you sure you want to make kids with this person? We don't talk about these things. We don't talk about mental health problems. What kind of mental health problems does this person have? What kind of mental health problem do I have that I need to work on before I start having kids? We just rush into marriage. We pressure our kids into marriage, and I feel like women are way more pressured to run into marriages. I don't commend what this man did. I do not commend him. Domestic abuse is bad. I would never tolerate domestic abuse. Nothing justifies what this man did. Doesn't matter what that woman did. Absolutely nothing justifies what he did. And of course, I hold him accountable. But I also do want to hold women accountable as well. I don't know if this woman's story, but I do want to hold women accountable, because a lot of times it's women who pressure other women to run into marriages. I remember I was talking to my good friend a few years ago, and she was talking about how one of her friends was basically asking her how come she's single. You know, she's almost 30 years old and she's single. And my friend basically naturally just responded with, well, I'm just waiting for the right person, you know, kind of, you know, testing things and going with the flow and things like that. And my friend told me that her friend basically rolled her eyes and said, well, you're doing it the American style. You're supposed to get married to the man. You know, after you get married to him, you start learning about him. You start getting to know about him. I'm all kinds of confused with this strategy. You know, like this is just dumb as shit. Aren't you supposed to get to know somebody first, date them first, live with them first, maybe even sleep with them first? You know, try to make sure you're both compatible before you say I do, before you propose. Because how are you supposed to get to know somebody? How are you supposed to know if somebody is compatible with you? How are you supposed to know if this is a person you want to spend the rest of your life with? Because marriage, that's what marriage is. It's supposed to be forever, for better, for worse. But everybody's just jumping into marriage, you know what I'm saying? And nobody's doing their research. Nobody's taking their time, like actual time. I'm not talking about the whole 1 year dating bullshit. I think one year knowing somebody and getting married to somebody within 1 year, I think that's a load of horse shit. It takes a lot of time. It takes a long time for you to actually fully get to know somebody. And even at that, you don't really fully get to know somebody. Y'all be running into marriage and rushing into marriages, and the shit that kills me with these mushmouth marriages is when they start breaking, we don't hear about them. The domestic abuses, we don't hear about them. The divorces, all this dumb shit that happens in marriage as a result of you not doing your part. You know, you're not doing your research and taking your time to marry the right person. We don't hear about them. All we see is the glamoury and, you know, the big wedding rings and the flashy wedding pictures and, you know, the makeup and all that on Facebook and on Instagram. But after that, we don't hear anything else. And a lot of times, a lot of these marriages are very unhappy, especially here in America. But don't get it twisted. It's not just here in America. The only difference is that Americans are actually way more pro-divorce than, you know, say Nigerians. Nigerians, they try to tough it out, basically hide so your friends and your enemies don't have shit to talk about. But that's what pisses me off, that when these marriages go to shits, you don't see these people coming out to actually educate the younger folks. Like, yo, there's nothing glamorous about this. You know, like, I got this shit messed up. You know what I'm saying? I had it upside down. This is what you should look out for, and this is what you should look out for. This is what you should not do. This is what you should probably not do. This is what I wish I had done. This is what I wish I hadn't done. We don't hear about that. I don't know if it's ego or whatever it is, but you don't hear about that. And then we keep perpetuating this bullshit. So many times you see parents, especially parents, you know, forcing their kids and pressuring their kids. You have to get married. It's like if a woman is not married by the age of 30, she's like abandoning goods. There's so much pressure from the women to the men. Oh, I have to get married. I have to get married. I have to get married. And this is so sad, especially in heterosexual relationships and marriages, because you have kids who are born into this shit. You know, so much toxicity, so much toxic behavior, so much crap going on. You as a person, you have failed to heal from your bullshit. You have failed to heal from your brokenness. And the person you're marrying has also probably failed to do the same thing. And then you're having innocent kids and you're passing down this bullshit ass toxic energy down to your kids. And now your kids have to grow up broken and having to navigate this already messed up world with more toxicity. And then, God forbid, they perpetuate the exact same problem. Me personally, I honestly don't understand what it is about marriage. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I do want to get married someday. I'm looking forward to it, but I don't understand this whole rush into marriage thing. I genuinely don't understand. Maybe because I'm a man, I guess, you know, so the pressure is not really on my neck that much. Maybe not. But I don't understand it. I think this is just logic. If, you know, because considering the fact that marriage is supposed to be for life, this is somebody you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life. Matter of fact, technically, you're supposed to spend more time with your partner, with your spouse, than you spend with your own parents. If knowing this fact, wouldn't you want to select carefully? Wouldn't you want to be extremely careful who you marry, who you propose to, who you say I do to, who you walk down the aisle with? And most importantly, who you make kids with. Because, you know, you can divorce that person if it doesn't go well. You know what I'm saying? But when you have kids with somebody, you're stuck with that person for life. For life. Don't you want to be careful? You need to be careful who you have kids with. I see so many broken ass families, broken ass marriages, man. Like, it's not even a joke. Y'all can try to pretend all you want, child, but that energy don't lie. It just don't lie. You know, I've been in places, especially living here in Texas. I've been to places where I see Nigerian couples. You know, you can try to pretend that everything is Gucci, everything is great, but your energy don't lie. You can tell there's so much animosity between the husband and the wife. There's so much tension. There's so much awkwardness. A lot of these marriages are now what they're cracked up to be. You could try to hide and try to pretend, you know, so your enemies don't talk shit, but the energy don't lie, man. The energy don't lie. You're passing down these toxicity down to your kids. There's so much brokenness in marriages, so much domestic abuse, so much enmity, so much animosity. So many marriages are sexless. Y'all don't know that. A lot of these married people don't want to have that conversation. A lot of marriages, especially here in America, but I'm pretty sure outside of America, a lot of these marriages are sexless. If you don't know anything about sexual frustration, is a thing. You know what I'm saying? Well, you're not getting sex on a regular, especially if you have hypersexuality, if you're a very sexual person and you're not getting some from your partner, that shit can mess with their mental health. You know what I'm saying? You start acting out, you start acting crazy, you know, your emotions are not stabilized. A lot of marriages out here are sexless as a result of brokenness, toxicity. I remember when I met the episode on Let's Talk About Sex, I mentioned about how sexual compatibility is extremely important. It is extremely important that before you get married to somebody that you're compatible. You make sure that you're compatible with this person, not just physically, not just, you know, if they're good looking, light skinned, dark skinned, and tall and short and all that. That's all great, you know what I'm saying? But sexual compatibility is extremely important. Extremely important. You want to make sure you marry somebody who is on the same level as you holistically, because these marriages are not what it's cracked up to be. A lot of these dudes are DL. Don't even get me started with the DL dudes, man. I'm talking men, and I'm not trying to talk shit or disrespect anybody, but I'm a realist, yo. There's a lot of dudes, a lot of y'all dudes, a lot of your husbands are not straight, child. I could spill all kinds of tea, but y'all don't want to have that conversation. And again, I understand the whole DL thing. You know, I'm not going to disrespect somebody. I'm not going to pretend that I don't understand why anybody will hide their sexuality and all that. You know, this conversation is much deeper than this particular episode right now. So I'm gonna save that for a whole nother episode. My point is, do your research. Know who you're marrying. Know who you're marrying, and be extremely careful who you're making kids with. Because this marriage shit is not what it's cracked up to be. Y'all can try to glamorize it. You can try to pretend all you want. Something the milk ain't right. Matter of fact, I remember Adele, I was talking not so long ago actually, and I'm gonna try to find a clip. The pastor, I think it's the pastor that killed his wife. I think this happened in Florida. I'm pretty sure. Killed his wife, shot her at work, came to her work and shot her.
Hear about the Ghanaian man of God in Florida, Prophet Sylvester Ofori, the founder of Floodgates of Heaven International Ministries in Orlando, Florida, shot his wife in broad daylight in front of the bank where she worked for more than 5 years. Wow. He's 35 years old. His late wife, Barbara Tommy, was 27 years old. She graduated from the University of Central Florida with a degree in finance. We don't know the truth about what actually happened between them yet, which is hard now that the other party is dead. It doesn't
between the two.
Now the shocking thing is, in this video, the man of God had attacked his wife in front of her siblings. So the video started where her brother, in her defense, was pinning down the man of God. And it baffles me that she was still defending him.
No! No, it's not okay, Barbara. It's not okay. You cannot defend him. It's not okay. Do you see what he just did? No, Barbara. No, I'm tired of you now. No, absolutely not.
Why did you attack her?
Wow. Wow. So he had been beating her even before this happened.
Same sister, who the pastor told you that she was a witch. Which pastor? Name that pastor. Name that pastor. Which pastor told you my sisters? The same sisters. You are a pastor. You.
Like, tell me, who do you think is possessed between the two of them?
If I don't kill your sister, then me, I am sick. You got the video, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Right, call the cops.
No,
Call the cops. Then, no.
Barbara, stop that.
Tanya, you don't play with threats like this.
Wow.
He's threatening you in front of me. He said he's going to kill you. What are you waiting for?
The even strange thing about this shooting, this killing, is the fact that this pastor warned her. He told her that I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her in front of her brother, in front of her mother, I think. He threatened to kill his wife. And this woman still went back to him. I don't understand this shit. You could call me heartless. Me personally, I don't feel bad for the woman, even though she's dead. May she rest in peace. But we need to hold people accountable. The only people I feel bad for are the innocent kids dragged into this hot mess. That's it. Those are the only people I feel bad for. I don't feel bad for the man. I don't feel bad for the woman. Because again, we need to start getting real as to where our problems are coming from. A lot of people, we want change. Everybody claim we want change. We want something different. We try to do something different. But how many people, when it comes to actually putting in the work and looking at this problem that we've been perpetuating and actually trying to do something different by holding every single person accountable, including yourself, it's crickets. Nobody wants to have those tough ass discussions that affect all of us. So we got to start calling a spade a spade. We got to get real with this shit, because, you know, the lies we tell ourselves, yo. The lies we tell ourselves. A few months ago, I met somebody here in Texas, a grown-ass man from Nigeria. And I mean, like, born and raised in Nigeria, moved to America as an adult. This man was telling me that he was sitting, I'm not going to call his name out of respect, but he was telling me that he was sitting in his home thinking about suicide, taking his life because of a horrible-ass marriage. A horrible ass marriage. He got married to the wrong woman and had a kid with this woman, and this woman is just driving him crazy. The fact that this grown ass man is openly telling me and sharing that he's contemplated suicide. And I told him, I remember telling him, you see, people like you need to speak up more. You know, because we don't hear a lot about people like you. We hear the loudmouths on Facebook and Instagram who want to show everybody, you know, how dope their marriage is and how dope their families are. You know, how expensive their wedding dress is and how expensive their rocks are and things like that. We need more people who have been through this marriage bullshit, this marriage facade, to spill more tea. So young people, we can stop with this bullshit ass trend. Again, I don't mean this in any type of disrespect to this video, to this man and his wife. I don't know their full story. I don't know the backstory, but from what I saw from that video, they look like a couple. What the man did would never be excused. And let's not get it twisted. Husbands are also being abused physically in marriages. It's not just the man beating the woman, because I've seen people dragging that man and calling him all kinds of names. A lot of times too, the women are the aggressors. Sometimes, you know, sometimes as the table is flipped, as the woman beating the shit out of the man. I've seen that personally. So I don't know exactly what their story is, but from what I see, they look like they're married, and there's nothing excusable for what that man did. But at the same time too, just like I hold him accountable, I'm gonna hold the ladies accountable as well, because you have a duty, you have a responsibility to choose carefully, especially for your kids, yo. I feel so bad for those kids, because now they have a head start of failure. They have a head start of mental breakdown. They're watching their father beat the shit out of their mother in front of them. That shit could just mess you up mentally, spiritually. I feel bad for them. And so, yeah, we need to stop with this whole glorifying marriage and have these unrealistic standards of what marriage is, and stop pressuring people into marriages. Some people are not meant for marriage, and that's my opinion. There's some people that are not meant for marriage, and it's okay if you don't get married. That's okay. You can cohabitate. You could be boyfriend, girlfriends, boyfriends and girlfriends, or whatever it is that you're into. You don't have to walk down the aisle. You don't stop making people feel inferior if they're not married. I've seen people who are married and they're more lonely than people who are single. So let's keep it real, yo. Let's keep it real. Marriage is not what it's all cracked up to be. Do your research. Take your time to get to know somebody. And if you don't know better, ask questions, get help, get a therapist or something. Do your research before you get married to somebody. Are you compatible with this person holistically? Do you know enough about this person? Background, family, can you handle their family? Personality and attitude. Personality and attitude are two different things. I'm going to be making a video explaining the difference between these two. Are you compatible with this person sexually, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually even? Yes. Are you compatible with this person? It's not just a physical. It's not just the light skin and the dark skin and the big booty and the big this and big that and how much he makes. It's much deeper than that. I would never glorify domestic abuse. I would never glorify anybody putting their hand on anybody else. Man on a woman on a man on a man, a woman on a woman. I would never ever glorify anybody putting their hand on anybody else. That's invasion of privacy. That's an attack. That's assault. I will never glorify that. But at the end of the difference between me and a lot of these people dragging this man is that I actually go all the way to the bottom. This is way too common, and we need to start getting real as to where this is coming from. the lies we tell ourselves. Marriage is not all it's cracked up to be, and we need people to take responsibility, hold ourselves accountable for the mess. We out here marching and talk about Black Lives Matter and NSARS and things like that, but a lot of people are now willing to put in the work. But anyway, this is the end of today's episode. Please share your thoughts down below. Let me know how y'all feel. Do you agree with me that people need to be held accountable? It's not just the man, the woman as well. Like you as a woman, it is your job, it is your duty. I understand that there's societal pressure from society, pressure from family, but it's still ultimately your job to be. You're responsible for who you marry. You're responsible for your actions. You need to pick your partner very carefully. That is your job, to make sure that you do your homework and not just marry anytime, Dick, and Harry. Do your research. Do you agree with me that compatibility is extremely important? Physical, mental, and spiritual, including sexual compatibility. Because do you agree with me that marriage is not all it's cracked up to be? Like we have the superficial, diluted sense of what marriage is, and I feel like this bullshit is perpetrated way too much in the media. And do you agree with me that there's so much pressure that we get from society and our family, and we need to break from this cycle? And do you also agree with me that the only people that I should genuinely feel bad for are the kids, because they're the innocent people and the product of this toxicity? Do you agree with me? Please share your thoughts down below. Like, comment, and share with your friends and family. And if you're on my YouTube channel, please make sure to hit that bell notification so anytime I upload a video, you'll be the very first to be notified. Please follow me on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Let's Talk with Uche. My email is letstalkwithuche@gmail.com, and my website is www.letstalkaboutus.org. Thank you very much. Until next time.